Hello, everyone. Good evening. I just want to say thank you so much for your patience and for being here with us this evening. Um, I was just saying to the technician that I know that when we're having live events, you have technical difficulties that cause you sometimes to begin late, but even online, you end up having the same problems as well. So I apologize for that. This is my very first live. It's not an excuse to be late, but I hope that next time the kinks, we can straighten them out so we can start on time. So thank you so much, Mr. Sen, for being with us. Thank you, Anisha, for being with us. And thank you, Thamisha, for being with us. And with us is Annabelle. Annabelle is the person who is really getting everything together for me tonight. She's my right-hand person. So those of you who are here, most of you know me. I will introduce myself, especially to Thamisha. My name is Madame Jn Pierre, and I am the Managing Director and owner of Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center. And I am a teacher, a French teacher at the All Saints Secondary School. And I love teaching and I love learning. Hi, Monifa. Thank you for joining us this evening. So it is my pleasure to bring to you this webinar this evening. I just thought it very necessary at this time with this online schooling, and even when we're not online, homework is a problem for our students. And so I thought that it would be very useful to share a few tips with us this evening. So our webinar is entitled 6 Easy Steps to Get Your Children to Do Homework. And added to that, we're going to bring a special bonus that we thought would be actually very, very useful at this time, because since you're online, it's important for you to know how to maneuver the Google Classroom and to be able to help the children when they are at home. So thank you again so much. And I just want to thank you for taking the time out for being with us tonight. It really means a lot to me. And as this being my first live, to see that I actually have people in the room is very encouraging. So thank you. We have some gifts, so let me just let you know that right away that we have 2 wonderful gifts. We have one gift from Heel and Toes. It's a coffee scrub pedicure from Mobile Pedicure and Spa. And it says tip to toe, let it show. Okay, so that's a wonderful pedicure that's up for grabs tonight. So you need to listen attentively throughout the presentations. And we're going to ask one question on each segment. And then the person who answers correctly and probably more quickly, then you will get one of those prizes. The other one is a special gift basket that's going to be from Satva. My goodness, if you heard that I was mispronouncing her business name, she'd be disappointed. Satva Essentials, okay? She's going to give you a wonderful gift basket with all of, some of her beautiful products. She has wonderful essential oils and other lovely products that you can use. So now that you know a little bit about me, you know a little bit about why we're here tonight, we're going to get straight into it. Homework has always been a huge problem, and as a teacher for over 10 years, probably going on 15 to be exact, that's a long time actually, homework is usually a problem for our students. They don't see the value in it, and that causes frustration for teachers, but even more so for parents. And we say sometimes that some parents don't worry, they don't care, but we know that, I know, having been in the profession, that there are a lot of parents who actually do care about their children education. They take vested interest in ensuring that they do well. And so we want to give you some tips that you can use. And I assure you, they're not going to be novel ideas. They're going to be simple things that you probably you thought about them some time ago, you might have heard about them, but you've not implemented them. And so we're hoping tonight that you can take those simple nuggets, and if you put them into practice, I promise you, I can guarantee you that they're going to work, because I am the product of everything that I'm saying to you tonight. My mother was a young mother, but she implemented certain things on a daily basis that forced us to do well at school. And I owe my education, having achieved the education that I did get, to be the woman that I am today. I give thanks to her and for her, because she would have, just really been active in our education, despite the fact that she did not go to high school. She did not even complete primary school. And so I always say to parents when I have the opportunity to say to them that you don't have to be a doctor, lawyer, nurse, or teacher to help your child and to ensure that your child or children do what is expected of them. The trick is consistency. I think everything in life depends on you being consistent in your behavior. And once you do that, you're going to help your children a whole lot. So at this point, I'm going to share my screen with you as we have prepared a brochure that we will actually be sending to you via email. And so for those who aren't able to join us tonight, we will be also, once you would have been a member, join the group, we're going to send that to you via email as well. Okay? So just bear with me while I pull it up. All right, so here we have it. 6 simple steps. I hope you can see that. Good. 6 simple steps to get your child to do homework. Getting your child to do homework is a constant struggle. As I said in the beginning, it is even worse with online school, as we know. But hey, you're here tonight because your despair is over. If you try these 6 simple steps, they should surely put an end to your misery. Okay, I promise you that. Number 1, develop an interest in your child's education. As simple as this sounds, it sounds, you know, like the thing that you hear every time, but you downplay it. Just showing the child that you are interested in their education by doing simple things. Just contact his teacher. Take your phone and call the teacher, and that child knows that you are going to be checking in on him or her. That puts in the child's mind that sense that, hey, you know what? I am going to do what I'm supposed to do because I don't want mommy to check on me. I don't want daddy to have to be checking on me. And it's not just a checking in with consequences. So when I was a child, I knew that mommy actually told us, look, do not let me have to come to the school for anything that is negative. Don't let any teacher call me. And that was a rhetoric every single day. You got up in the morning, she would do everything that she's supposed to do, get your clothes prepared, prepare your breakfast, you get dressed, you're neat and everything. Then she would tell you, okay, good, it's time for you to go to school. I wish you a wonderful day. Make sure you learn something new today, and don't let any teacher call me. That's essentially what she said to us every day. Now, by just saying that to us, I knew that I couldn't go to school and do anything for a teacher to have to call mommy. And I'll give you a story later on when teacher had to call mommy one day, right? So just hang with me. So just knowing that you're checking in will start a process of accountability. They will start to think that, hey, you know what? I have to make sure that I do what is expected of me because I don't want teacher to have to call mommy, right? Number 2, again, it's going to sound very simple, but I think that a lot of parents do not practice that. And as a teacher, I know, because even when you ask the children, what do they expect out of school? Why are they coming to school? Why are they here? They don't know. You know why? Because mommy and daddy have not shared any expectations with them. Because remember, they're young. And unless you talk to them and you tell them what it is that you expect from them, sometimes they're lost. They need guidance. So share your expectations with your child. It is important that your child knows what you expect from him or her. This will also send the message that you believe in his or her ability, and that will encourage him or her to do well. Okay, now if the child is just going to school every day, come back home, nobody's saying anything, whatever, the child is just that child is just in an ocean learning to swim by him or herself, and a lot of times, as we can see the statistics, they're drowning, unfortunately. So it is important that you share your expectations. The child knows what it is you expect from him or her. And I promise you that you will see the difference. My mother always told us that she told me in particular, because if I share my story with you, which is going to come later on, that she knew what she didn't get out of school, and so she wanted me as the first one, and under the circumstances, I will talk about that as we come later on, I'll share the circumstances with you, that she wanted me to do better. And so I knew that whatever I did with my life had to reflect a step up from what my mother was able to accomplish. She didn't finish primary school, so I knew for a fact that I needed to finish primary school for the least, okay? And she expected a lot more than that from me, and she made it clear that she wanted me to do well. And so I knew that I owed it to her to give her that much, okay? Number 3, share your own experiences with your child. Now, I can see eyebrows raising. I can see some people thinking, I've done too many things. I cannot take the risk. I cannot risk it at all. But guess what? At some point, they will find out. Anyways, life is like that. And it is in their best interest if you tell them now some of the things that you would have done that you're not so proud of, that they can now come and they have sort of like this benchmark that they can measure against and say, Mommy did this, Daddy did this, and you would have expressed to them that you want them to do better than you. Then at that stage now, they are gauging what they do. They have something to measure against. So share your own experiences with your child. If you made mistakes when you were their age, let them know. And moreover, make it clear that you expect better from them. And so the little story here is that my mother had me when she was 16 years old. Okay, and she told me when I was about 10 or 11, I remember, young girl, just going into high school, she sat me down and she said to me, Kima, which is what she calls me, so you learn something new about me tonight. She calls me Kima. My name is a whole long story. We'll probably get to that in another webinar. I had you at 16, and I want you to know that I don't regret having you. However, I know that having been pregnant so young and getting such responsibility so young prevented me from achieving some of the goals that I would have wanted to achieve. She always wanted to be a nurse, for example, and she never got that opportunity to continue school and to become the nurse that she wanted to become. And so she looked me in the eyes and she told me, this is what happened. I had you at 16 years old, and I want you to know I do not regret you. As a matter of fact, and I shared this in one of my Monday motivation messages that I share every Monday, that she was advised to abort me at that young age, and she decided against it. I must apologize if you're hearing the dogs outside. Please bear with me. That's one of the issues of doing things from home. But I hope you can hear me clearly. Let me know if you can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome, great, thank you. So she said to me, I don't regret having you at 16. I am really proud of you, but I want you not to do the same thing that I did. And I think that day when my mother said that to me, and she said it in such a manner that showed me that if I would have made any such mistake, I would have broken my mother's heart. I would break her heart so much that I knew as a young girl growing up, there are certain things I could not do. Okay, there are certain things I just could not do. And so I remember as a young 10-year-old girl, I sat down and I planned my life. And that will be, again, the details of that in another webinar. And part of that planning was that, Kisma, you cannot fool around with boys, because guess what? You don't want to make that mistake because it would break your mother's heart. And I did not want to break my mother's heart at all. And so talking to your children, letting them know some of the things that you did that you're not proud of, it will sound a bell somewhere. It will speak to them in a different language than if you pretend that that you're perfect. And I think this is what some parents do. They pretend that they are perfect, and their children now, when they're growing up, they realize, but wait, I'm going through certain things, and because mommy and daddy are perfect, then I cannot tell them certain things. I cannot be honest with them because they're going to judge me. But if your children know that, hey, I have parents who did X, Y, and Z, but they were able to get past that. They were able to improve on their situation and become the mother and father that they are today, and they're in a position to guide me to be better. I think that you would now establish a conversation ground. You build that trust, you build that bond with your children, and it opens up just room for so much communication that it would definitely translate into their performance at school. Number 4, motivate your son or daughter to do well. Never accept failure, mediocrity, or complacence from your child. There is always room for improvement. And even here at Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center, my students know that. There is no I can't, there is no I don't. As a matter of fact, whenever they open their mouth to say those words, I am like, hello, 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 please don't give me a heart attack. And I'm very dramatic about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, stop, don't do that. And they're like, oh, teacher, I'm sorry. And I'm like, we don't use these words here. We do not use these words here. So do not accept your children telling you, I cannot, I don't know. No, it is okay not to know, but it's not okay to stop there. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. If you tell me that, I'll accept it, but not I don't know and full stop. No, do not accept that from the children, because you should know that anything is possible. I think we are living in a world right now where we should all have our eyes and our ears and our minds wide open to see that anything is possible. And even if I am to just share, me doing this tonight is one of the greatest testimonies of anything being possible. Because if I think on my life a few years ago, I was so shy. I was so, I had no self-confidence. I didn't believe in myself. And this is one of the reasons why I have decided to really passionately do this that I do. Because at Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center, I am seeking to build such confidence in my students that they can rise above and be, and just today I was telling them that in our online class, that I want you all to get so passionate about life and about learning and about school and about education and about yourself that you can be a leader among your peers. And this is what I try my best to instill in the students who I get the chance to work with. I teach them how, that you ought to believe in yourself. And I can speak like that to them, and I'm patient with the process because I know what I went through. But it's very important that as parents, we do not accept failure. We're not going to say that if the child brings home a D or an F that you're going to just chastise the child. No. And it's very important too that I stop here to say that don't judge the child, okay? Do not judge your children because they probably cannot do as well as somebody else can. They bring home an F, you're going to sit that child down and first of all, let them explain to you why they got that F. What is it that's happening? And this is where now the step that we talked about earlier, building that relationship, opening up to the child will allow that child to be able to have a conversation with you. Let the child tell you, is it that, they're having issues with the teacher? Is it that they're having issues with their classmates? Is it that they're having issues with themselves? That their self-confidence is so low that it is preventing them from opening up and receiving the education that is available to them? When they have told you what the problem is now, you need to tell them that, hey, let's figure out a way for us to solve that problem. Let's see what help that I can give you. Let's see what help that your friends maybe can give you. And if that's not sufficient, let me see what help I can get for you, right? And so you do that. You figure out what the problem is. Let them tell you. And then you figure out a way to let that child see that there is more inside of you. I don't want to start preaching up in here, but there is, according to Les Brown, there is greatness within all of us. There is greatness inside each child. No matter who the child is, no matter what size, shape, color the child is, there is greatness inside that child. And it is important that as a parent, you are able to encourage that child to break out of that shell, peel out the layers of the onion and find their center. And as I said to you, growing up, I was pretty shy. And I know that part of that came from me feeling insignificant because I was raised by my stepfather. And again, there are so many stories to tell, so we'll get to the nitty-gritties of those things eventually. But having been in my mind, the way that I processed the information at the time is that my father didn't want me. And so that left that feeling of insignificance. It's left that feeling of not being enough. It left that feeling of I don't belong. And so it translated into my very quiet demeanor at school. The one thing I had going for me was that I was purposeful. I would study hard and I was a good student. I set high standards for myself throughout my school life. And that is what saved me. When I got to college and I realized in one accounts class, I was doing financial accounting. And in that class, the teacher, and I remember her name, Madame Jn, very, very energetic little lady, but, she was getting up in age. And she asked a question in the class that day. And I was the only person who was able to answer. And I waited for everybody because I was so shy. And I waited to see if anybody else was going to answer. And she continued to pursue. And I think everything in life happens for a reason, because she did not stop and then give the answer. She waited. And it's as if she was waiting for me. And when I realized, okay, nobody was answering, but I knew that I knew the answer, I reluctantly raised my hand and answered the question. And to be very honest, that was the day I said, aha, that's my superpower. And I said it. I said, hey, you know what? I'm smart. Like, I'm very smart, because that was financial accounting. Anybody who does accounting knows it's difficult. And I was the only person who knew the answer in the class that day. And I realized, I was getting good grades all through school, but that day was when it hit home. And I realized that I said to myself, and this is how I validated myself, I said, I'm smart. And so from then on, I started raising my hand in class. I started, being more involved. I think that's where I started peeling off the layers, and I started to find myself. And I have gone through the ebbs and flows of being confident and then losing it a little bit, and you go through different stages in life. But it is very important for you to find that one thing that you're good at. And this is where we go back to the children. Yes, they may be struggling in one area, but there has to be a subject that they're doing good in. There has to be one of them. And you use that one to show them. If you can master this one, my dear, you just have to channel that same kind of energy into different areas of your life, into the different subject areas. And you will see how you will get that improvement. Okay? So there is always room for improvement, so encourage them. Acknowledge every small win, but always challenge him or her to do just a little better next time. Number 5, this point calls for an everyday ritual of sorts. When your son or daughter returns home from school, the conversation should go something like this. Remember, I gave you the conversation that my mother would have before we left, and she'd be like, I wish you a wonderful day. You have a very good day at school, but make sure no teacher calls me for anything. I love you. Have a good day. And we go off to school. But guess what? My mother, who did not finish primary school, who had me at 16, and now she has had 8 of us, and she just celebrated her 51st birthday. She was able to instill some rituals that she practiced on a daily basis. And here is what the conversation went like. How was your day at school today? So this is how she would start. How was your day at school today? We would say, it was fine. What did you learn at school today? Now, even if she probably at the time couldn't understand what we were saying, that wasn't the important thing. She wanted to know that we actually did do some learning at school that day. And so we would say we learned so-and-so, we did so-and-so, we talk about the exciting thing, or if somebody was fighting, these are all the things we learn, because you don't only learn ABC and 1, 2, 3. You learn about fighting and who said this and whoever. We had a conversation. I think that is what the key is, having a conversation when your children come from school. Not they walk into the house, they dash with their bag somewhere, they go into the fridge, they grab something, they go into their room, and you have no idea what's happening. It's important to have a conversation with your children every day, that they come from school. You need to pick their brain, know what it is they're thinking, because sometimes they come home from school, they're in a bad mood, you don't know. They go onto their phone, they're texting their friends and whatever, but here, you and them, you don't have that conversation. Then she would ask us, do you have any homework? All right, most times we have homework because at our school, they would always give us homework. So she would ask us, do you have any homework? If we said yes, she said, great. After you eat, take out your uniform, you bathe, you get to it. Okay, so that was the order. Sometimes you may have had dishes to wash, so you do this, you go ahead, you take off your uniform, you have your lunch, you bathe, you get your homework done. If you did not have any homework, she'd ask you how come. Because a lot of children come home and they would say they don't have homework, and that's it. And I hear it all the time. Oh, I ask them all the time, and then they say they don't have any homework. No. Mommy would ask you, how come? Like, why don't you have any homework? Because she's expecting you to have homework. Then you'd give an explanation. She'd say, okay, well, go and review what you did for the day. So she would instill that you have to go in your book. Now, as I said, Mommy wasn't able necessarily to understand what we were doing in school. Not that she's illiterate, but, school jargon and the everyday language is different because she can read. But she may not have been able to understand the math or the science that you're doing. But the important thing is that she would make sure she kept on top of things. So how come? Okay, good. Go and review your work. And you don't dare get up from that book until she is satisfied that you have done some studying, right? And that is what instilled in me personally, that every day I came from school, I was sort of, I don't know if you'd call it a loner, because I would come from school, do my chores, whatever chores, and I had plenty chores to do, right? And that didn't prevent me from doing well at school. So parents, I want to plug that in here. Don't think that giving your children 1 or 2 exercises to do, chores to do when they come from school, that is going to prevent them from learning. It is not going to prevent them from learning. So it is very important that you get them to wash the dishes. They can sweep the yard if it needs to be swept, clean their room. Do not take the chores away from them. I am the product, and I'm not saying that I'm special in any way, but I think I can stand here today and say that I have done well. So in my school life, I have always been an A student. And I forgot to really do the big introduction to tell you, okay, I went to teacher training. I'm a trained teacher, and I graduated at the top of my class with a 4.1 GPA. Now, that didn't just happen. I have been the student who has been consistent with her schoolwork, despite having had dishes to wash, despite having had to cook, despite having been the first child of 8, and I had to comb all my sisters' hair. I did the ironing because Mommy didn't like to iron. So I had to iron all of our clothes. And I come from Dominica, by the way, for those who don't know. And in Dominica, for some weird, very interesting reason, all uniforms have these pleats. I hope that's what you call them in Antigua. When let me see if I can demonstrate for you the pleats that when you have, what do you call them here? My goodness, I think you call it pleats. They have these creases, right? And so you have these creases, and all our uniforms have that. And I took pleasure because, listen, one of the things that I pride myself in, if it's not worth doing well, it's not worth doing at all. So I would pride myself and take my time and iron those creases. So when I'm finished, that uniform is spick and span. You would swear it's a sergeant who ironed that uniform. And so I had all of these things to do. And I still did my schoolwork. And I would sit on the step, because if I have to give, as I said, there is so much for you to know about me and my journey and why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I didn't come from luxury. I did not come from luxury. I came from a very humble beginning. However, we can say that we were blessed, despite our humble beginnings, to have a mother who instilled certain values in us. And our stepfather worked hard, but Mommy did most of the training. I will tell you that much. That my stepfather brought in the bacon, my mother did the drill instruction. And she did, I can say, an awesome job. And I owe who I am today to her and to my stepfather who brought in the bacon so I could eat, and to her who instilled that character in us. So don't think that giving your children some chores is taking away from them. No, it is helping them to build character. Okay, and so have this conversation with them. Make sure that when they come from school, but before they leave, that you say something to them. Even if parents, you have to leave early in the morning, startle your child when we get back into the classroom. Write a note before you leave. You would see how much difference that would make. I promise you that teachers would tell you that there is a smile on the child's face, there is a new glow, there is a new sense of purpose, because that child realizes that, mommy, despite the fact that she was in a rush, she took the time for her to tell me to have a good day at school and that she loves me. And those three simple words, for some reason, we all want it in romantic relationships, but we feel that we need to, ration it out in the rest of our relationships. It is important to tell your children that you love them. It is so important, because mommy telling us that she loves us every day before we left home, I think it was just magical. All right. Number 6, later on, even while you are cooking or doing the dishes, you ask him or her to show you his or her completed work, or you can ask him or her to recount what he or she studied. If it is possible, you can even quiz him or her on what was studied. So here you can see mommy's there and she's probably cleaning some vegetables or whatever the case is, and she asks a math question. So how much is that? The child says 28. Okay, and so I just want to share with you that it doesn't take so much for you to make sure that your children are on top of things. Simple things. You are busy, I know, but while you're cooking, while you are doing what you're doing, you ask them a question. What is 5 plus 2 if they're doing math? What's 10 times 3 if they're learning their tables? While you're busy doing what you're doing, just ask them a quick question. Now, I hope you see the common thread in all of this. It is conversation. I think that is what is lacking, why your children don't see the need to do their homework. Because, hey, who cares if I do it or not? They will come and they will say, teacher, I did your homework. They don't see it as theirs. They see it as a teacher's homework. And so parents, I just want to encourage you that these are not difficult things to do. It might just be things that you have not thought about, and it may be something new and different that you would have to try. And it might seem weird in the beginning. For those of you who never told your children that you love them, it might seem weird. Try it. Try it. Because it will make a world of difference. When my students come here, as I tell you, we run a family over here. If you've been following my journey on Facebook, we have a family over here. So every day that my students come here, if they come in person or when we meet online, I have to ask each and every child, so how was your day today? What did you do? Teacher, I did this. Teacher, I did that. Teacher, my day wasn't so good. Why wasn't it so good? And then I have to encourage them. Hey, let me tell you something, girl or boy. Aren't you alive? So why isn't your day good? I keep motivating them like that, to encourage them that no matter what it is, that you need to have a positive attitude. And parents, if you can do that for your children, I can promise you that it's going to be so wonderfully amazing. You will surprise yourself. So I'm going to leave you with that presentation tonight. And when you've tried this, if it still doesn't work, contact Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center. Okay, but try it first. All right. So I hope that this was encouraging to you. I hope that it would have shed some light, something that you hadn't thought about before, something you hadn't practiced, and that you're going to be willing to try. And so, without any further ado, because it's getting late and I thank you for being with us for all this time, but we're not going to leave you because right now everything is online. And so we have with us Miss George Michel. She is my colleague and friend, and I just want to thank her for being with us tonight, and she's going to share with you about the Google Classroom. And so I'm just going to introduce Miss George Michel. Bear with me 1 second while I pull up her bio. And bear with me because I'm getting old. Oh my God, I didn't realize I'm so old. My eyes are getting very bad. But Michelle Toussey is an educator of 14 years of experience. She has had training in science and math education. She also has a diploma in forensic science. Recently, she has been a part of the Antigua and Barbuda G Suite administration team and has been actively engaged in the, sorry, bear with me with my eyes, oh my goodness, in the coaching of blended learning in Antigua and Barbuda. She has written the G Suite and Google Classroom handbooks, which are available on the Ministry of Education website. Her goal is to motivate her students through the practical exploration of science and the practical application of science and technology. And so with no further ado, I welcome Ms. Toussaint to make a presentation on G Suite and how you can get yourself familiarized with the platform so that you can be of better assistance to your children. Ms. Toussaint?
Hi, good night. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right. So I'm basically going to show the student view of the G Suite platform, primarily Google Classroom tonight. I'm going to share my screen, my whole screen, so that everybody can see what's going on. All right. So currently, the first thing to notice is I'm on a PC, and the PC view is a little bit different to the phone or tablet view. But this is what I have available to me at the moment because my tablet has become the property of one of my children. I have 3 children who are also going through this whole pandemic with us. So one of the first things to notice is that I have 2 different windows open. One is my personal Google Chrome profile. The other one is my school, well, not school, but my Ministry of Education Google Chrome profile. You can have multiple profiles on Google Chrome, and one of the reasons we suggest that this is the best way to do it on a PC is because we're working with people's children. And one of our primary goals is to protect people's children. During the first lockdown, we had a lot of incidences where class codes were shared on Facebook. Teachers had all kinds of people coming in, a lot of lewd behavior in some cases, and we didn't want that to happen with our children when we had control of their communication. So the G Suite that we use is completely blocked off from all other social media platforms. This is what it is. All right, so I have my profile set up. If you notice in the top right hand corner of this profile, you see a little M. That's for Michelle. And if you haven't done so already, you can create a Chrome profile by just clicking on that little M. If it's your personal profile, you might see your face, you might see an image that you've put up, that's fine. And you go to the very bottom and you click add. Once you do this, a pop-up should appear, and all you have to do from there is to put in the prompted information. It asks for a name, you have to name it, pick an icon, and then click add down at the bottom. After that, it will prompt you to sign in to Google Chrome. You'll do that with the account that your child has been given. Now, each school has its own domain. So for us at All Saints, it's allsaints.edu.ag. For Buckley's Primary, which is my son's school, it's BKLYPS. I don't know why it's so cumbersome. It wasn't us. .edu.ag, but all the edu.ags have been government issued domains for each school. From here, you have access to all the Google apps we're accustomed to. So if I come to my app grid, or the waffle, as some teachers call it, you'll see my account. I have an admin account, so you'll see my admin app. You'll see my Gmail, my Drive, my Docs, my Sheets, my Slides, my calendar, and on and on and on. All these are available to all our users, absolutely free of cost. Well, except for the internet you have to use to sign on. Right? These are available to both teachers and students, and so we can diversify the whole learning experience. But most of the learning experience happens in Google Classroom. So I'm going to open Google Classroom. Once you open Google Classroom, it'll take you to your classes page immediately. Your classes page shows you all the classes in which you're enrolled. So you'll see all my classes. Some of them I am teacher of, some of them I am students of, depending on what role I was trying to achieve that day. It also gives you your to-dos, right? Now, to-dos is a long list of everything that's going on in the classroom, all your assignments, and you can filter it by class. So these are the classes I'm enrolled in. So I can filter and just filter out what I'm supposed to do for this particular class or what I'm supposed to do for this particular class. Luckily, I don't have any work in that class. Praise God. You come up to what is called the hamburger. It's the 3 lines. It's our menu screen, and it takes you right back, and you can go back to your classes. Okay? Your calendar also shows all your assignments. So students can look at their assignments by due date, and they can do this for all their classes. Again, it depends on what class you have joined or have not joined. One of the major problems that we've seen is that sometimes, you know, kids are kids. They don't like this particular teacher. They don't like this particular class. I'm home. They can't do me anything. I'm not going to join their classroom. So you might see a classroom tile like this where the student has not joined yet. For that, all you have to do is click join, and the student is fully enrolled in that course. Once they're enrolled in the course, it'll pull you straight into the classroom page. The classroom page can be customized by the teacher depending on what his or her intent is. This is my 5th form class in which there are actually students, but I have joined as a student so that you can see the student view. One of the first things you see is the banner. The banner should tell you what class you're in. For me, this is 58223 Integrated Science, and if you pull it down, you'll see Integrated Science, and the room is Integrated Science Lab, because when we're at school, we do class in the lab. This is something that I use as part of my face-to-face instruction. So my students would come to me in the lab, and then they would do most of their work online. One of my goals for this year was to get a completely paperless classroom. Didn't really work out, but you know, there's always next year for trying. At the top of the classroom, you'll notice that there are 3 buttons. There's stream, there's classwork, and there are people. We're currently on the stream. The stream is generally where we make announcements. So, you know, today is class. I'm sure that, you know, tomorrow is midterm break, you know, things like that. And teacher will make it as interesting, as fun, as appealing as they can for their students. So the teacher will customize the banner. They will try to send daily reminders. And of course, if the teacher is permissible, they will also allow students to comment on the stream. So if they have a question, if they have a comment, if they're having trouble, this is the easiest way for them to reach out to their teacher. The next page is the class. Before I forget, classwork can also show up here, but this is not necessarily the screen where they should do the classwork. It's more of an announcement of the classwork. The closest thing I can think of is your Facebook stream. So, you know, on Facebook, somebody posts in a group, it shows up on your timeline. It's the same thing. It's basically the timeline of the classroom. However, in order to get down to the work, you go to your classwork page. This is what the classwork page looks like in my classroom. You'll see that almost everything here is color coded. These are called topics, and for each topic that I teach, I create a new topic so that students can organize their work and I can organize what is done. All topics are displayed on the side of your screen, on the left-hand side of your screen, and you can navigate to one or all or none if you so choose, right? So if you click on any one topic, metals and non-metals, all materials for metals and non-metals will be shown. Only materials for metals and non-metals will be shown. Going back to all topics, and the current topic we're doing is temperature control and variation. You'd notice that there are a bunch of different icons on my screen. Let's start at the very top where you can see view your work. Now, when a student clicks on view your work, it takes them to the screen where they can see all their assignments. I just joined this class tonight, so everything is missing. Don't be alarmed. If a child has missed a due date, it will show up as missing. In this time, I don't think any teacher is penalizing children for missing an assignment. We know things go wrong. Today, I tried to hold a live class, and INET just wouldn't let us. So if the student has missed an assignment, they're not going to be penalized. Just have them go back and do the assignment in the time. Also, all these things that you're seeing on the screen are not assignments. We have different logos, different icons for different things. So there's a little icon that looks like a bookmarked page that is a material. Okay, when you click on it, you get a drop-down menu and it tells you to view materials. Once you open that screen, you'll see the tiles with the different materials that the teacher has posted. This post is a PDF file. It's just reading. That's all they have to do. So when teacher sends notes, more than likely she'll send it as materials. Then you have this icon, which is a little clipboard, and that's the assignment icon. This is an assignment that the students must do. In my classroom, assignments often come with instructions. This one is not a very good idea. This one, because we would have done work previously, is not a very good example. Let me see if I can go and find one that makes a little bit more. All right, so here's my temperature, thermometers, and environments worksheet. Use the notes and today's class discussion, because we had a live class that day, and your own research to answer the following questions. And you'll see a Google document has been attached. Once the student is viewing the assignment, it's going to open up the assignment page. The assignment page just shows the instructions, use the notes, and of course students can add a comment if they so choose. If they want to have a comment that the whole class can read, they add it in the class comments. If they want to add a private comment that only the teacher will see, they can add a private comment on the tile on the bottom right-hand side. At the top right-hand side of this page, you'll see a tile. It's called Your Work. Now, I have assigned a worksheet to my class. So once they click on the worksheet should open up automatically in a new tab. And because I'm on a PC, it pulls me straight into Google Docs, and I can manipulate the worksheet from here. In this case, read the thermometers and put the correct temperature in the yellow boxes below the thermometers. Teachers very often tell children where they want them to write in the document, just for ease of understanding. So for me, it's yellow boxes that I put, and they can just click on the box and the cursor will appear and they can type. Anything they type in the box is automatically saved. So this thermometer, as far as I'm concerned, reads 1. I'm going to put 1 there, and you see at the top of the screen it says Save to Drive. Once the student closes the document is automatically updated, and they just have to click Turn In. If it is a case where they're asked to create a document, then they go to Add or Create. A drop down appears. They can add a link from they can add a file from their Google Drive, which is a whole other session again. They can add a link from the internet. They can add a single file from their device, or they can create a new document, slide, sheet, or drawing. Once they've done that and they've turned in the work, it's simply a matter of going back to your waffle, selecting your class, or you don't even have to go back to the waffle, just select the class name and it'll take you right back to the screen. Students are oftentimes reluctant to reach out to teachers. However, I mean, this is the easiest form for them to do it in. All they have to do is to go to people. Now, if you notice, there are 2 teachers in this classroom. There's myself and my HOD. If they don't necessarily feel comfortable speaking to me, they can always message him. We tend to teach in tandem, so he'll answer questions, I'll answer questions. And they can also message one another. So they see their classmates and they see their teachers. All they have to do to send a message is to click on the little envelope. And again, everything is automatic nowadays. It'll pull them straight to their Gmail and to their Compose screen, and they can send a message to their teacher. We encourage students to be polite when they're doing this and to practice what is called good digital citizenship. So make sure you add a subject so that the person can see at a glance what it is. For me, it's inquiry. And then you start off your email just as you would in any, business casual kind of situation. Good day or good afternoon. I'm having some issues. I would like some explanation, etc., etc., etc. And then they send and can close the tab. At this point, I would really, really love to show you the Google Drive and the Google Docs if time permits. So I think I'm going to do that very briefly. The students can always go to the Waffle and they can open their Drive. Now, the Drive is where everything that you create, everything that you are sent, everything is just stored in your Drive. So the worksheet that I just created is up here in your quick access. Everything that you have accessed most recently is in your Drive. Students can also prioritize what materials show up where by adding folders to their Drive. They can also just have everything. And once it has a name, you can always search in your Drive for whatever it is. They can also look at their most recent documents, what it is that they have used most recently. For me, it's these two worksheets. They can look at shared Drive, which is all the files that have been shared with them. At this moment, nobody has shared anything with me. And they can also come up here and create a new file. Now, once they've created a new file, oh no, that's not how that works. Okay, so once they're in the main Drive, they can come there and create a new file. Once they create a new file, it'll give them the option to create a new folder, a new file, and as it loads, they can create documents, sheets, slides, etc., which then they can add to assignments if they don't want to, if they're given the opportunity to work on their own, right? Some teachers do this, especially when it is that you're trying to get the child to be creative. And this is an opportunity for them to be really creative. There are 1,000 different ways to decorate a Google document. You can import pictures, you can change the colors, you can change the font, you can change the background. So we're really trying to encourage them to interact with the technology in a useful way, so that it can help them later on. One of the things I missed, I think, is the Meets link. So at the top of your classroom page, you'll see a little camera. If you're on a phone or a tablet, it'll show up at the immediate top of the screen. And your Meets link is just a video calling app. Teachers use it to host live classes on the G Suite because it is a free application that G Suite is given, and we can use it basically at any time. Now, as it stands, most schools allow students to start Meets. So if a student, let's say, has an issue, I can tell them, jump in the Meet, let me jump in and let me talk to you. And that is another easy way for your student to communicate with their teacher, or even for you to communicate with your teacher. We also encourage parents to please be a part of the learning experience. So if it is that you have a child who is currently using the G Suite, don't just leave them on their own. Or, you know, it's complicated, don't like it. It doesn't look too cute. I mean, try to engage them and try to engage their teachers. We don't have a problem hearing from parents like this. We welcome the feedback. We welcome hearing from parents. We very much appreciate hearing from parents, hearing the difficulties and seeing how best we can help you through it, right? A lot of the times we have problems, and they're minor problems. The internet is slow and something doesn't upload right, or a file is in a weird format and you don't understand how to do it, or the editing tool isn't working at the moment because of some glitch. All it takes is a quick email or a quick message. Please help me out, I've done something, and more than likely, once it's within school hours, teachers will respond because we're on call. Well, if you can call it on call, we're going to respond. If it is after school hours, because we are parents, we are wives and husbands and girlfriends and sisters and brothers and daughters and sons, give us until at least the next school day to respond. That is the most of my conversation, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and open for any questions if there are any questions. Hello?
Hello.
No, sure. Hello.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I did the whole process that you just explained, right? So I was going along as you went through. And then I came upon this notice that says I would have to be affiliated with a school to enter Google Classroom, correct?
Yes. You should, for the G Suite, you need a G Suite domain, which is usually the .edu.ag domain.
Oh, so you wouldn't be able to get that like on a monifa.com domain kind of situation. It wouldn't be possible.
No. Our security is such that, again, because we're dealing with children in most cases, we want to ensure their safety. We don't just want any random person coming in. If it is that you're an outside person that wants to come in, let's say you're a lecturer or you're a resource person, then there are means by which, but you'd have to do that through the Ministry of Education.
Okay, thank you so much.
A service we can offer to parents, though, is if you have a child who is on our system, we can offer to add you as their guardian. That's your personal email address, and what you will get is a report. So your child has so many assignments due, your child got this grade for this period, etc., etc., etc. But you would not be able to interact with the classroom from an outside account unless you're given special permission.
Okay, thank you so much.
No worries. Okay. Anyone else? No, I think that is it from me. So I'll turn it back over to Mrs. Jn Pierre.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this informative presentation. I'm sure parents that we all would have learned something from that, and you should be able to better help your children at home. I wanted to get so eagerly into Ms. Toussaint's presentation that I forgot to ask you, well, I guess now is the right time really. Based on my presentation, is there anything that caught your attention? Is there anything that you would like to comment on that spoke to you? I think we can go for 9 o'clock since we got you on so late, and I promise you the next time we will try our best to be on time so we can get you back home to your family and back to your family in time. But is there anything that caught your attention? Is there anything that, you know, I said that resonated with you? Anyone?
I'll comment.
Yes.
So I basically do all the steps that you already have lined out. However, when you mentioned the failure part, I had a little bit of a pushback, you know, for lack of a better explanation, because like you, I was not really taught to fail, if you know what I mean. Or in our household, and we're old school, so in our household, it wasn't a fact where you could actually fail. So now that I'm an adult, I realized that I needed those failures to build my character. So I tend to encourage my son to actually do something wrong so that he can learn from it and move on to do something better. So when you make the statement that says, do not accept failure, I feel maybe that can be rephrased, maybe to say, you can encourage failure, but don't accept it. If you know, like maybe add that different phrase, because I feel like kids really do need to learn how to fail in order to not have a syndrome of fear of failure, because I do have that. I'm scared to fail. So sometimes I don't even start something because I'm so afraid of not doing well at it. And so I feel like we should encourage our children to actually have failures in their life, but also rise from that failure.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Yeah,
all right.
That's okay. Monifa, thank you. I think you have said exactly what I was thinking when I wrote it, but I did not write it in the words that you would have said. And so I'm definitely going to make a note of that we should encourage failure, but not accept it. That is exactly what I would have wanted to say. That's the message I wanted to bring across. Because as you said, it's very important to fail, but don't stay there. That's essentially what I would like to bring across. Don't allow the child to stay there and get comfortable in it. You failed, that's fine. Now let's figure out, this is why I said, if they bring home an F, for example, let's sit down and chat why. And then let's figure out how we can get you to rise above that F. So I think the way it is stated, it may not be sharing what it is I wanted to say, but you have clarified how I can say it for it to mean what I wanted it to mean. So thank you so much for that. Anybody?
I also have one more thing to say.
Sure.
I'm so overwhelmed, not overwhelmed, but I'm really inspired by your story. And I want you to tell your mom thank you for pushing you and for making sure that you are a very passionate educator for our children, because we do need more people like you. I also feel like you should probably host, like, not just for the kids, but for the educators, how to become passionate, how to drive yourself as an educator, because you know, a lot of the educators have burnout syndrome, right? And so with your passion and with your knowledge of, you know, education and being in education so long, perhaps you and Madam and Miss Toussaint can come together and do something for the educators themselves. And whenever you do that, count me in, because I'm also an educator to my son, not to the public, but just to my son.
Awesome.
For having this this webinar.
Oh, thank you so much, Monifa. Thank you, and that's a wonderful idea. And you know, to be Miss Toussaint and I, we work at the same place, and I'm sure she would have heard me express myself a few times that I really do believe that whereas I stretch my students, you know, I really stretch them, but at the same time, I have so much, as you said, compassion for them, because I want them to know that no matter how much I expect from them, that I do understand. So I appreciate that. And that is something that I guess I hope the word gets out there and the powers that be would accept for, as you said, myself and Miss Toussaint. And I'm sure she would be more than happy to join in doing that. And of course, you yourself, Monifa, because I have not known you for too long, but I can already feel the passion that you have. And that is why I connected with you, because I think, you know, like kindreds, we kindle very quickly and we can feel each other. My mother always used to say, birds of a feather, they flock together. So thank you so much for that. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to say before we give away those gifts? Yes? Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am
Hi.
and I joined this conversation, you know, just to get some more information of how I can cope, because since last year, as you all know, we in this lockdown, my children have been homeschooling. School, they do have classes every day, Monday to Friday, 9. For me, I am stressed. I am, because I also work from home, so I'm in the same space with them, trying for them to go to school or online, and for me to get my work done. I'm not even sure if there any advice you can give, how to cope with that. Every day, I can tell you, every day I feel like I'm going to go insane. I feel like I'm going insane, as a matter of fact, every single day that they have class. It's the how to cope, and you know, any coping mechanism, anything that parents can do in that regard.
Okay, can I ask you one question? Is it because they need your assistance while they're in class? You said every day that they have class, you feel so stressed. Is it that they need your assistance to get by, and that frustrates you because you have your own work to do?
In the beginning, last year, they needed my assistance because, you know, they were not really familiar with the computer, how to navigate it and stuff like that. This year, better, but I still do monitor them to see what they're doing, to see the work that they're getting also, and to assist them with their work. So yes, I would because I have to assist them and I have to get my work done.
Okay. I can again empathize with the fact that they're at home, and well, we have them most days, and we have learned how to cope with the 30 and so of them in class. And I must admit, it is something that you learn how to do, because every teacher, when we first start, I will be very honest with you. I'm almost 15 years in, but I feel sorry for the first set of babies that I had, because I had no experience as how to deal with them. But one thing that I have learned though is that when you have set parameters for children and you are consistent with it, they will stick to it and respect it. If you are privileged enough to have a separate room where they can be doing their work and you're doing yours, you can set the parameters that you don't disturb me until such and such a time. There's food in the house, you let them know where to find it, and you let them know that you don't disturb me until such time. And so if it means it's every 2 hours or so, you need to take a break to come and then deal with them, that you have to compartmentalize your life despite all of what is going on. And children respect that. Children respect boundaries when they are set and when they are forced to respect them in the beginning. Eventually, it becomes, a habit for them. So if it is a case where they just come and they just barge in and mommy this and mommy that at any time, that's going to be a problem for you. And again, it goes back to my mother. Monifa, I really have to tell my mother, you said thank you, because when, for example, simple thing like this, my mother is having a conversation. I knew not to disturb her in the middle of a conversation. I knew to stop and wait until there was an access point, for want of a better expression, and then I say, excuse me, please, mommy, and then I can speak. So you need to set some boundaries, and I see Monifa here is saying, try assigning areas in your home for class, yes, and be strict, right? That's what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
You have to be strict with it and let them know when it is appropriate for them to come and seek your assistance. So just try that. It's gonna be tricky in the beginning because you're not used to it, but what consistency is the key.
Okay then. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Oh, Miss Matthews, you're welcome. Thank you for joining in. Anybody else? Okay. So, ladies, because we don't have any gentlemen here, hopefully on our next in our next session we can invite some gentlemen. Before we leave, I always this is the practice that I have with my students, and I try to have them with everything, because improvement is the name of the game for me, so that I know what I can do better next time. And so before you leave, I'm going to ask you, in one word, I'd like each person in one word to go ahead and tell me, well, 2 words. 1 word, the positive, 1 word if there is something that you'd like to improve on. Just tell me in a very short sentence, probably 1 word is cutting it too close. But just tell me quickly, are there any things that you, first of all, okay, I know we were late on time. I apologize for that. We're definitely going to try to get that better next time. But tell me quickly before we let you go after we have given you your prize. It's 9:03, we're not keeping time. What is your assessment of tonight's session, and how can we improve? Can I call on Monifa to go first? Then Miss Toussaint, and is Tammy still with us? Is Miss Edwards still? Go ahead.
I think she left.
Okay.
Tonight's session, I can't even say 1 word because I'm not a 1-word person, but tonight's session was fantastic. I did enjoy it. I was anxious. I was awaiting to see what actually was going to be taught, and I really do appreciate what you did. And well, I just told you the negative in the previous comments. So
yeah.
Besides that, it was great, and I really appreciate Miss Toussaint's explanation, because now I know how to use Google Classroom. Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Is Miss Edwards in here? No, I see 5 people, but I'm not seeing who they are. No? Okay. So it's just
on Facebook.
Okay. Mr. Sen.
So
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Monifa.
I was telling you the 5 persons are actually on your Facebook page.
Oh.
So you can go over to the Facebook page and see if there any interaction.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. Saint, I know you were a presenter, but you're also listening in. So go ahead and, you know, you can also critique us. I left the room. What am I doing? Oh, no, I'm still here.
I think the thing
Sorry.
I think the thing that grabbed me most is the point about sharing your mistakes.
Yeah.
It's something I do with my kids. My kids are very aware of all the sordid details of my experience, well, age appropriately anyway. And it's a relief to know that other people think that way too, because there are times when, you know, you think, oh my God, I am screwing up my children. But you know, it's nice to know that I'm not the only one in my little citadel of thought. And this was a great learning opportunity for me, because even though I've been in Facebook rooms before, I've never had to navigate the technology this way. Okay. So I am too learning. And so this afternoon, after I finished my classes, I was there researching, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get this done? And so you gave me an opportunity to learn as well, which I am forever grateful for. So thanks for that. And
thank you so much. Thank you very much that you were able to come on board, even if it was not with too much heads up. But I really appreciate that you're always there whenever I ask you to help me out. And I really appreciate that. Is Temia still here? Hello? I'd like to hear from you. Tamisha. Tamisha?
Hi, I'm still here. I got disconnected there for a bit. I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, so we're just asking for your feedback, because that's how I learn, that's how I grow, that's how I improve, and my modus operandi is improvement. So tell us.
Yes, I think this session has been very informative, especially the points that you shared. I have some of those points or the pointers that I follow, but my children don't seem to take me too seriously. I the part where you said about sharing my mistakes or what we expect from them. That's that part I can I like. Hello? Are
yes,
you here? Hello?
I'm here. I'm listening to you. We're hearing you. We're listening.
Oh, no, okay. Okay, that part I like the most, and I will be sharing some of my mistakes. And like Mr. Hussein said, because they're 10 and 11, I think they're old enough to know some things. This was a very informative session.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so very much for joining us this evening. And I must say, you know, I feel so richly blessed. You may think that I would have poured into you, but your presence here this evening, just, you know, to be frank and honest with you, as women, sometimes we're so shy. And as Monifa said, she was afraid of failing. And I have also been struggling with that, being afraid to try because I didn't feel validated. And I thought that, you know, that nobody would care about what it is I have to say or what I have to share. But your presence here tonight really tells me that what it is that I am seeking to do, that there is merit in it, and I'm encouraged to go even farther along. And so I thank you so much. This evening, before we leave and before I give you your prizes, those of you who are going to win, I must stop to say thank you to Annabelle. Annabelle is the person who is managing all of this. Since I met her last year, was it Annabelle or 2019? It was during the pandemic, so last year, 2020. She has dramatically brought to life the image of Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center that I had in my head all the time. Because I can learn how to do the techie stuff, but I don't have the patience for it. I rather to sit down and create the other elements of my business than to sit and do this. But like I said to her last night, I don't have the patience to sit and do it. In 2019, I actually built the base of the website because it was done out of necessity, but it took me like an entire, literally 24 hours sitting down. Thank you, Jesus. I had my sisters here to feed me while I sat at my table and I worked for 24 hours to bring the website to what it was. And Annabelle took it and just elevated it. And so I thank Annabelle so much. All of these flyers you see being done so professionally, like, wow. She just wows me every time she brings my ideas to life. And I just have to say thank you to her. And so if anybody needs any work done, artistic work done, Anchor Designs is the place to go. Your flyers, your website design, your social media management, and even just support with your business. She's there for that. So Annabelle, I'm saying it to you openly. I've said it many times behind closed doors. Thank you so, so, so much. You're one of the best things that has happened to me and to Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center and the brand that I'm trying to uphold. So ladies, those of you who are here, as I said to you, try these 6 steps, continue to pound on them and see the difference in your children's lives and their attitude towards their work. And if all else fails and you're still not getting anywhere, you know where to find Madame Jn Pierre. And I will be there to support you. Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center is here. We're family. And so we are here to support you. You can go to our website at www.moonlitbreak.com/MJPLC. Annabelle, if you could just put that in the chat for me so they can just see it and click on it if they need to. I would love for you to actually visit the website so you can both see what we offer and see Annabelle's work. And so if there's anybody who, if you don't need the services of either myself or Annabelle, and you know somebody who does, you know where to send them. Number 2, I would like to say thank you again to Sattva Essentials for the wonderful gift basket, and whoever gets it, you will not regret having been here tonight, because she does some wonderful products. And also to Heels and Toes. She's the one who does my toes. She's the one who does my pedicures, and she does an excellent job. And the best part is she comes to you. So she's a mobile pedicure spa, and so she comes to you. So tonight we have 2 questions. And of course, we have 3 people in the chat. One was a presenter, so automatically, presenter, you are not allowed to answer your own question or the question that's based on your presentation. And so we have 2 questions. Number 1, true or false? Which of these is not a part of G Suite? Well, not true or false, sorry, multiple choice. Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting my types of questions. Which of these is not a part of G Suite? So Ms. Toussaint, you're not allowed to answer that question. Which of these is not a part of G Suite? Is it Meet? Is it Forms? Is it Room? Or is it Docs? You're going to type your answer in the chat. The first person to answer, you get a prize. And it's only 1 prize per person. So let's go. Which of these is not a part of G Suite? Is it Meet? Is it Forms? Is it Room? Or is it Docs? Are you going to try, Tamisha?
I cannot find the chat. The chat.
Annabelle, can you direct her where to find the chat?
I can see it on the right-hand side, but maybe I need to exit
your window. I don't know.
Yeah.
Annabelle, can you direct her? Because I wouldn't know what to tell her either.
I can see it here, but typing in it, it's not allowing me to type in it. I can. Oh, that's the thing.
Oh, so you have to go on the group page.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's where I go. Let me see.
So I see Moni first answer, but I'm going to give you a chance, Samia, because Thamisha. I keep calling you Thami. I don't know why. Thamisha to try.
Okay,
And
I
Mr.
see it.
Sent,
Yes.
and
Oh,
Mr.
she
Sent.
has two windows open. Why she can do
Ah,
that? Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sent, you will verify what the correct answer is, okay? And this first prize is going to be from Heels and Toes. You will get yourself a wonderful, oh, I was supposed to tell you, the coffee pedicure. It's one of our newest products. I haven't even tried that one yet. It smells delicious to me. But Tamisha, you're saying the same thing.
Yes.
Mr. Send, are they correct? Mr. Send?
Unfortunately, no. Meats is
Oh, no,
part
don't give the answer, okay? Don't give the
Oh,
answer. I just wanted to say, don't
okay.
give the answer. So tell them they're not correct, but give them another try.
Okay.
So both of you are incorrect. You have another try. I'll read the question again. Which of these is not a part of G Suite? Okay, we know that meat is not correct. So you have three other options to choose from. Is it forms? Is it room? Is it ducks? Is it forms? Is it room? Is it ducks? Let's go. How does the sound for think I'm trying to remember the song track for
Yeah.
who wants to be a millionaire or something like that. Okay, so we have Monifa saying rooms and we have Tamisha saying form. Mr. Sen, can you verify if any of them is the winner?
Monifa is correct.
Monifa is correct. Yes, so Monifa, congratulations. You just won yourself a gift from Heels and Toes. It's a coffee scrub pedicure, from Mobile Pedicure Spa, tip to toe, let it show. And she was established in 2019, and I can tell you that she is awesome at what she does. So congratulations, Monifa. And I'm just going to, Mr. Saint, I have a special gift for you. So we're going to exclude you from this, and we're going to give Tamisha by default, or should we just make it fun? Tamisha is going to win that other prize anyways, just because it's the two of you who are left. But I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask the question
Okay.
anyways, just for fun, you know? Just for fun. Next question, true or false? You start the process of accountability by checking in with your child's friends to see if there was homework given at school if you are unsure. True or false? You start the process of accountability by checking in with your child's friends to see if there was homework given at school if you are unsure. Is that true or is that false? Annabelle, you're going to determine if that answer is correct. Please. Okay, they both said false. Annabelle, is that correct?
Yes, so that answer is correct.
Okay, very good. All right, so congratulations to both of you. So Tamisha, your gift is going to be a gift basket from Sattva Essentials, and I promise you, you will not regret that one. Hello, by the way, you see how the Lord works. You definitely need those essential oils, and I hope she gives you some wonderful candles that you can burn, and you can tell the children, you know what, you need that half an hour for yourself, and girl, burn your candles and put in some essential oils, play some music in the background, and just have some USA moment for yourself, okay?
I will. I definitely will. I need it.
Yes, so ladies,
And
I cannot thank you enough. You are most welcome. I cannot thank you enough. Mr. Saint, you did an awesome job, and I am so grateful to you for that. Annabelle, you're awesome. I cannot stop saying it. And thank you so much. I don't know, is this going to be replayed, Annabelle? Is it possible to have a replay of this? Annabelle? Are you there? Well, anyways, if there is a replay when you, oh, yes, it is. Okay. Okay. If you're seeing this in the replay, I just want to thank you for having been with us tonight, and I hope that you would have learned something from our presentation. Please keep looking out for Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center, as we will have different events coming up, and we are going to continue to support our children and our parents. At Madame Jn Pierre's Learning Center, you learn the way you learn. We are a family, and we believe that every child has potential and that they are good at something. So we're going to encourage them to find that thing that they're good at. And so we know that our children are the future, and so we're going to continue to band with our parents as we just do the best that we can to help them. So once again, thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful evening. You're a good sport. God bless. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Goodbye. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good
Good night.
night.
Good night.